Good morning and greetings from Dr. Bill Wyatt with the American Orthodontic Society, and I am glad to be with you here this morning, and I hope to show you some things about dentists not knowing any orthodontics at all and the wrong things that they have done to people's teeth simply because they did not understand or know these things that were wrong. And I'm thinking about a deep bite case where the lower teeth are right up in the back of the upper teeth and the bite is completely closed, and the person was having a TMJ problem, and so to relieve it you had to move the jaw forward to get the condyle away from this retrodiscal tissue, and at least the guy knew that. He knew that he had to advance the mandible from back in this position up to a forward position. And when the deep bite was there, when he moved the teeth up here, there's a gap in the back teeth that was this wide. I mean, all these back teeth didn't touch anymore, but the guy's jaw didn't hurt him. So the guy knew no orthodontics. He didn't know that he could level that bite out and move the jaw forward and not increase the vertical dimension of the face in here. If you go out here and open somebody's bite completely and you have increased the vertical height of the face by the amount that you drop the jaw down, and you got it out here. Now, in order to finish the case where he couldn't leave the guy chewing on the, if you advance your mandible and close out here, when you bite down, the pressure's right here on the front teeth and here on the jaws. It takes it completely away from the teeth. You've got to put something in here for the teeth, and the pressure will be right up, going up through the bone structure, the facial structure. All right, so the guy did not know that. So he moved the jaw forward and he crowned all the bottom teeth down here, and that put the extension onto the tooth. It makes it more flexible for moving the root structure in the bone if you've got a lot of extra crown up here. Well, he brought it forward, and that solved the TMJ problem. It got the condyles away from the retrodiscal tissue back there. Now, I had heard this guy speak, and I wanted to hear him, and he was going to talk about orthodontics, movement of the teeth like this in the TMJ problem. And I flew to New York to hear this man, and there was a huge audience there. And he put this case up, and he advanced the mandible, got rid of the jaw joint problem, and then he said he crowned, and he showed he put crowns on all these back teeth back here, and that solved the problem. Now the man is chewing out there the vertical dimension, and I was sitting back there in the audience, and I just could hardly keep my seat without getting up and telling the man, why don't you learn how to lower the teeth and to open the bite without opening the skeletal facial structure? And I could hardly keep my seat from saying that, but I managed to do it. But I've showed and talked about this for years now. This was probably 30 years ago or more, and I lectured on this, that you don't do the teeth that way. You can open the bite on people very simple, and I want to show you just one case where we learned to use the intruding art. Okay, I want to show you a case that had a terrific deep bite, and this is how simple it is to open the bite. And we did this back in 1971, if I'm not mistaken. And I've lectured on it for years, and still people still don't understand how opening the bite and moving the jaw forward has an effect on the temporomandibular joint. But let's go through this guy real quick, and I will show you his situation that he's got here. Now these are two little simple wires we put to intrude the upper and to intrude the lower teeth, and we put these on him, and his bite was down like this. I mean, you could hardly see his lower teeth in here, and this is what he came in for. That was all. And so we banded his 6-year molars back here, and we put a arch wire like that, and we banded the lower 6-year molars, and we came and we brought this arch wire up and hooked it to the teeth, brought it down here, and the guy, I think I saw him one time, and after that he was just disappeared. He was gone for 6 months, if I remember correctly, and he came back in one day, and he could not bite through a sandwich or a hamburger, and he couldn't get his teeth together. These teeth were down here, right here, and these lower teeth were up here somewhere, and he closed together. You could not see the upper teeth. Now this was, I don't have the date on this picture, but I think it's 1971 when we did this, and this is where the birth of the intruding arch started, and I've lectured on this for years, and still people don't understand or know this fact. And so I am so grateful for the YouTube ability to get out and show people all over the world what you can do. And it wouldn't be impossible for somebody to band your 6-year molars here. You just stick brackets on these teeth and open them up like this. And this is where it was. Now this had very little effect on the molar teeth back here. And people who chew and bite in this area has very little effect, but it took these whole anterior teeth that were down here, raised them up here, took these that were up there, brought them down there, and now we level that up. And if he had a TMJ problem, he could bring his jaw forward now, and it would not change this dimension in the facial structure here. So these are wrongs that people, this guy was lecturing all over the United States, and international writer, a brilliant guy, but did not know orthodontics at all, or he could have done this. Now it takes you a little while to do it, but think of spending the rest of your life with all these teeth crowned back here, because if you open this much, you'd have a gap between these teeth about wide, and you had to crown all those back teeth back there. So I want people everywhere that have problems like this to know that you cannot get away with doing this type of dentistry. I mean, this cost this person a tremendous amount of money to crown all these bottom teeth right here, and it made the teeth have big top hats on them, and that weakens the roots of the teeth. There's all sorts of things wrong with that. And the thing to do it right is to know a little bit about orthodontics, and that's what I want people to do. And it had very little effect on the molar teeth because he chewed on them, and that's why we've got this little gadget now that people wear class 2 elastics off of something swinging off of these 6-year molars back here, and they've made millions of dollars selling that for people. All right, here's the upper arch and the lower arch, and we had nothing but the bands on the 6-year molars, upper and lower, and we hooked these arch wires and pulled it up, and it took these down, and it took the upper ones up, and it opened the bite completely. We went ahead and finished the guy and brought his teeth back down to where he had a little overjet and overbite, but that's where it started, right there. Now, this is a wrong that's going on, and it's still going on today. There are people that don't understand the orthodontics, that this tooth right here could be down here, and you can go up here, and you don't bury it in the bone. The bone structure goes with the teeth as you raise it up down here and down at the bottom. And this is what I want to get across to people. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, you can take somebody. Here's the date. This was January, February, March, April, 71. Now how many months? That's almost 50 years between this. And now you know that you can take these teeth right here, bring them down, bring the upper teeth up, and you don't open the bite in here, and you've got your natural teeth the rest of your life, or you spend the rest of your life with all these teeth crowned down here with big top hat crowns, and it changes the height of the face. And so you can understand, I could hardly sit there and listen to this gentleman without getting up and saying, man, why don't you learn a little orthodontics? So now, with the help of YouTube, we can talk to people all over the world. And this is where it came. I thank you for watching the videos. I don't have a whole lot of more time to be with you. I'm getting, my voice is getting worse than I am, I do believe. But learn that you can do something, and you do not have to do a wrong like that. And this is still being done with people. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to close out and stop.